Hello, hello, purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Welcome back to our show. I'm so happy to be back with you with another amazing show, amazing guests, and amazing value that we share with you daily at this point. I'm so grateful that the community is always growing, and I have amazing people that are part of the community that want to share their knowledge and expertise. And we're doing that today with Colleen Wynia. She's from a member of our community, and she's going to share with us everything about her beautiful work that she does in the world. And we're going to specifically be talking about how to reset your vibe and vision. We speak so often regarding vision and mission in this community and purpose. So I'm sure that Colleen is going to add so much beautiful wisdom to our conversation today. Colleen, thanks so much for being on our show. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ilona. I'm absolutely thrilled and appreciative to have this experience with you. Let's connect. Woohoo!
Absolutely. I loved our energy when we personally connected after our community. So I can't wait to have this beautiful conversation with you that I'm sure is going to be very soul filling as is our work. And I know you do amazing work on your end as well. So let's start with an introduction. Tell us a little bit more regarding your journey, what led you to the work you do today, just to get to know you a little bit better.
I'd love to. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Colleen Wynia, and I'm a spiritual intuitive and reset your vibe energy coach, helping people with their energy and their vision. And a little background, we'll dive right in. Like, what does that mean? I will tell you this. I started in the corporate world doing all the right things. So I was trained and thought that was what the success was for everybody. I was in a lumber trader eventually. And after 11 and a half years, near the end of that term, there was two loved ones in my life. This is the beginning of the journey of moving into entrepreneurship and helping people feel amazing and reset their vibes so they attract more what they want. And what that is my cousin, who was like my brother, my bro, 27 days apart, shared a sleeping bag. You know, we were very close. He found out he had cancer. And shortly after that, so did my father. So my two buddies, just love them dearly. It was absolutely the first nightmare of my life. No, that's not true. There was many, traumas earlier in life as well. However, this was a real turning point. That's why I start here. I walked the journey with them, and through the loss, they eventually passed away, Ilona. They followed the medical system. They weren't at a time of natural healing and things like that. But it opened my mind, both curiosity about wellness and what you can do naturally to lower the risk of cancer. So I dove into nutritional supplements. I know you believe in that big time. I started learning about that. At the same time, ever since I was a little girl, I always wondered, what happens when you die? All right. I also dealt with depression. So you've got this multifold young woman doing all the right things and, in the job, learned that her loved ones, were unwell, walked the journey with them. 2.5 years later, they both passed away within 9 months of each other. And that just opened up a whole new gate. So where that soared me in the direction of what I'm doing now for over 20 years, supporting people in transformation from the inside out, it really stemmed from the combination. There's another word coming, another C word, but it's like the combination of coming together of experiences where I was forced into diving into my grief and healing that. I was shown some spiritual experiences where I felt, what? It feels like they're around me, they're near me. There's these odd things happening, moving objects, electricity, sensations, and I had nobody to talk to. So as you do, you go outside of your community and you seek. I sought out psychic mediumship. I sought out healing. I sought out a spiritual church, body work, all the things to help heal grief, was get the grief out in the body, learn about the things you can't see. Meanwhile, all along, curious and learning about natural nutrition So I can lower inflammation, which is precursor to all, most all illnesses. So that's sort of the background, traumatic. And throughout that journey, it threw me into my own, always wanted to work for myself. So fast forward, actually, I'm going to bring you up to today, because I know you asked sort of a more specific question, but 20 years, I would say approximately 20 years, a lot of one-to-one. And my head, I help people decipher their head to their heart and bring it together. My mind taught me how I should, my conditioning and how I should live, how I should be, what success is, what joy is, what my heart kept guiding me to the truth. And there was like this, disconnection a lot while I was learning how to understand it and integrate it all. But anyways, the great news is through the journey of self-discovery and professional experiences outside of, the 9-to-5 kind of job or 6-to-3 or whatnot, I did discover that I had a passion for helping people. So one-to-one work was a big part of my world: massage, body work, spiritual, healing, psychic mediumship to some degree in the sessions, energy healing, you name it. So now pre-COVID, I was like, pre-pandemic, I knew there was more, like how you lead the community and how you have changed your life from the corporate CEO world to, what you're positioned now to do and serve. And I knew the same was for me. So it took me a while in finding a right direction, but eventually I'm happy to say that I'm also now the creator of Crystallize Your Vision, which is a powerful program to energize your clarity, confidence, and creativity. But it's through the process of tapping into your intuition. And it's based on my star, the 5-point star approach, where we take into account, express, move, prime, align, and monetize. We kind of look at different facets going on in our life. That was me. I dropped that. Pardon me.
Wow. Colleen, I love your journey. We have so much in common. But what stood out to me that I'd like to kind of like go off on is, how everything, I always say, sort of the things that happen to us, challenges in our life, the trauma, the drama, all the stuff that we don't expect, but we have to embrace, right? Because they happen, they show up, just like the grief that you experience with your brother and dad, like right one after another. I also personally believe that there is, life beyond after we pass away. Our body, our spirit is out there as well. So I could kind of resonate with some of the things that you kind of picked up as far as your other gifts and how to explain all these things that you were feeling energy wise, but obviously maybe didn't have the awareness or the articulation at the time to know what's going on, right? Yeah. I think that's really what happens. So just for the audience, if there's people, I know grief is one of those, very hard emotions for a lot of people. I have not personally experienced it with my loved ones, thank God, yet, right? But I do know people in the family that have gone through it. And I just know people, a lot of times I find that's one of the biggest challenges, of our lives, especially maybe as a parent can lose a child. I think that's like the worst. But, as we go through grief, what are some of the things that you learned throughout your journey that you want to share with people to kind of help them, grow through that process?
Okay. Yeah, we're going to zero right in on like the main one, like this one thing. It was a big theme for me, but it took me alone probably 10, 15 years before I really understood it. So I'd like to share that with the audience right now. And what that is this, see if we can nutshell it, but make it still understandable. Okay, so when we lose someone that we love, just clarity on something. It started for me with 2 loved ones. And then for about 8 years, I lost somebody like every year. And I've recently lost my best soul sister who shared this. She was incredible. She's probably 15 years older than me, but this was a woman who has this ability to connect with, mediumship and healing. And she passed pre-COVID. Or just at COVID time, 1 week before you could no longer go in the hospital. She chose when to leave. But so where I want to go with this is when you have loss in your life, whether it's people that have died or whether it's a broken relationship or even a loss where you're disconnected from yourself or something's happened with your health. Okay, so loss is loss. That's the first thing. Second thing is when you're grieving, you will often feel, because of the experience, that it's all about that. So I thought when my loved ones died and everybody kept dying, and I dove into do deep work on myself in a spiritual community, and I ended up becoming a practitioner, a breathwork practitioner, particularly, and how to emote, get the yuck out so I can get harmony and centered again and clear, thinking. I thought that it was always the grief. I thought, oh, I would blame it. That's my loved one. That's that, because I went through that, because I went through that. It was like, I mean this lovingly, like you do go through it. It is hard, but the teaching is what it did, Ilona, was it brought out in me my own pain. Probably the easiest way to say it. Mm-hmm. So what it does is it triggers, it's one of the many triggers, but it's one of the most profound triggers that if you've been, we'll use simple language. There's so many different ways we can go into this, but if you got emotional blocks or mental blocks or cellular imprints in you from childhood conditioning that's been stored in your cells of your body, when you have a grief or a breakup in a relationship, it's never fully about that. So it took me years to realize that my greatest pain of losing so many loved ones, and that's not to mention the alcohol family I grew up in, and and so on, the addiction I had with food, all of these traumas. But that was, I sourced out those to try to numb my pain, which was inside of me already. So the beautiful thing, guys, is to know that when you're grieving, to go into it, to go into the feeling, like that is where the healing happens faster, faster, faster. And it's the number one thing the ego doesn't want to do, right? We want to push it away. So mindset work, all of it, nothing happens to really create the success in the business that you want, and so forth until the emotional wounds are addressed. So that's it in a nutshell. The biggest one is that it is literally give yourself love, take your time to heal, and then understand that it's more than about the losses that you've suffered. It's about your own wounds inside that need love and attention.
Wow, I love that, because even though it's a big trigger for a lot of people, it's also another growth opportunity for yourself. So you can see, what are some of the things that need to be healed that come to the surface, and they come by force, right? It's not like we're looking for them, just like you said, right? But because that happened, it kind of, opens up a lot of that, which is good, because it leads you towards that path of really healing yourself in so many other ways. Beautifully articulated. A lot of times, we're always looking for like a problem solving thing, like a solution, like, what is like 1, 2, 3 things I can do and get over with it. Because we want the quick, things, right? As human beings. But it's all about you, isn't it? I always say, it's like, mirror back to you, mirror back to you, mirror back to you. So learn to love yourself, because you'll be looking at yourself all your life through your development and your growth, right? I love how that you just connected something else. So that was beautiful as well.
One more add-on around that, because there's so many pieces, and we're only here, you and I, for a short period of space here. But one other thing is, like the word that was coming through is, you probably heard it many times, patience. Patience. But so that means give yourself the time it needs. So I'm going to add on. That's why for me, only working with like a success coach who didn't understand this element, that there's emotional wounds in place. And I had interviewed a lot of coaches earlier when I was creating my program, Crystallize Your Vision, that I can now serve, one-to-many around the world. It's a fairly new thing created from last year. Okay, I just lost I did a Colleen. It's called a Colleen.
Back to your program, because we would love to learn a little bit more how to clarify our vision. But I think what you were trying to tell us is kind of the patience, right? Patience, have patience.
Yeah. Thank you for the track being on track. It's the patience, and then it's allowing yourself to, like, when I say patient, I mean when you feel on and when you're balanced. Actually, let's back it this way. When you're get yourself to an aligned state. And there's many ways we can do that. I'll share one tip here too for all of the audience. But when we get to that peaceful state, that's when you're the most powerful and productive wise. Like that's when you're relaxed enough to try a new business direction, show up live for something. It's not when you're anxious, overwhelmed, and stressed. We want to first get back to the balance. So you listen to your body if you have that opportunity. And I know consistency and growing your business has all of these things we have to do or could do or should do, but those shoulds, those have tos are just hurting you. And that's not where we want to come from. We want to come from in spirit, which is inspiration. So get centered first.
Love that. Tell me a little bit more about the energy healing modalities that you use. That's always very, very interesting, especially for visionary leaders, you know, all of us that are growing businesses. I know personally how important it is to really tap into our higher energy and really align our vision and mission with the business direction we're trying to go to, so that we don't, you know, we stay authentic. I think it's a challenge for whatever level of growth that you're trying to accomplish. So personally very always interested regarding all the modalities regarding how to tap into your subconscious, how to, you know, heal your energy at those highest levels so that you clarify the vision, just like your program helps people clarify their vision and align everything, all the other areas of your life, all in, you know, that one thing that you're trying to do. So tell me more about that. I think it's very interesting.
Well, initially, that's a great question. And someone else might come forward and say, I've learned this modality, I've learned that modality, I've integrated these and I've made them my own. And I have to tell you that almost most of all of my work these past years have not come from any one specific modality that I've even trained fully in. I'm kind of like the odd girl out. I was guided by source, by spirit, to trust myself from the inside. So I might taste test. So I would integrate in person when I was doing the in-person sessions, which were energy and deep healing. I would integrate deep tissue massage. I just want to give you an explanation. So I would integrate, say, deep tissue massage and acupressure based in Jin Shindo body mind acupressure. That's where you use your fingers. Massage has kind of deep movements, right? It's different. Then there was a few different things, but none of them was one that I followed. I kept being guided by source, by spirit, to follow what was true for me. So I had this blend of my own. So probably the easiest thing to share with the listeners now is the number one thing that I do continue to use online as well and through the program is the breath of life. The breath of life is breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. I was trained in rebirthing, which is an in and out through your mouth. And it's a longer session that allows people to dive into the hidden ego, stuffed down, unknown, unconscious pieces, and beautifully, lovingly bring them to the surface so you can transmute them. And so I guess the share with you is for viewers and listeners who want an easy tip to relax, I would call in the breath with just a really simple in and out. You could be through your nose, out through your mouth. And if you get into meditation and you do that a few times a day, that will help you relax and fall asleep and, you know, restful place, move into balance. But if you have unmet stuff that's inside, the activation breath of rebirthing is more like, And what can happen is if you've never done this before, it's definitely much better to do with a practitioner or follow along with a support. But this allows activation and stirring up of the sleepy parts that are ready to come to the surface. And there could be an edge of emotion that's just right there. So where I would take clients over the years through these long sessions, 45 minutes on average, along with coaching, counseling, that would literally, like, they'd walk in and I'd be like, how are you feeling? I'd go through the whole, and they're like a 2. And then, you know, by the end of the session, they're completely like another level. On the scale of 1 to 10, they'd be like, you know, any level of improvement is awesome, but they might be an 8 or a 9, like have released so much stuff. But this stuff doesn't happen overnight. So what I love about breath is it's fast to get you into your meditation, and it's really powerful to help you release, which is unconscious and ready to be transmuted and transformed.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'd never heard about it in that way. And I love the what you shared with the breath, kind of knowing where we are emotionally, that if we do breathe that shallow, there is some stuff to work out. It's where we need you. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So let's get to the star. So what are the 5 areas that you help people with? Tell me more about that.
Oh, I'd love to. So in Crystallize Your Vision, the program is designed around the 5-point star approach. And I started calling it the 5-point star before this physical star actually showed up, which is right. We create first. And I was in Mexico when the actual physical star was right there. I'm not an ornament person. I don't have to come home from trips and buy all this stuff like I did when I was 18. I came home with 2 things, you know. But anyway, so the star was calling to me. And so the first point on the star is express. Let me say the 5, they're verbs. So there's 5 verbs, and then I'll tell you what they are. So it's express, move, prime, align, and monetize. Okay. Express, move, prime, align, and monetize. So when we start out, usually most people end up attracted to work with me because they're dealing with something where they're stuck in their business and they're grieving, or they're just feeling like not quite alive and where they're at, and they're not always sure what it is. Sometimes they are. But it turns out that we take them through express, which is about expressing your emotional health. It's about resetting your emotional health. And we do all these different things in order to help you align yourself in that phase. Then as you move through the cycle of life, think like the pie of life, then you've got move. And so this is about moving and clearing for receiving more through your body and in your life, energetically. There's just so many ways of moving. It can be fitness, but it's all of these components. It's about getting your energy back in the flow. When we move into this point, you'll be really familiar with this one too. This is prime. So this is priming your body for nutritional wellness, priming your body for nourishing yourself, and considering all the things that you can do to, you know, get the energy up, the inflammation down, and live a more nutritious, balanced life. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not an expert in that, but I've been in that field for 20 years with some basics. I like to teach that. Oh, and intuitive eating becomes a part of that as well. I guess a 4th point on the star is my brain. Express, move, prime, align. How can I forget this?
Align. That's
how can I forget this? Align.
Like you're in this community where all we talk about is alignment. Yeah,
I know. And align, which is so funny. It's a very big part of my program. There's a couple of phases on align, because align is about aligning with self, source, and others. And it's about aligning with your spiritual cheerleaders. And recognize who's on the other side supporting you. So that could be your loved ones who passed away. That could be your angels, your guides, your art. You know, there's so many, your beliefs. I work with everybody in different faiths. So it all falls into what's true for you. And when you can connect with self, source, and others, build healthier relationships on the planet, in the human sort of form, and the multidimensional, greater things, you can call in your guides to help you manifest the next thing you want. And lastly, this is where you're really savvy into, is monetize. So for me personally, this is how my life came together, or is coming together, is I always have to come back to my emotional wellness, because I'm a huge empath. So for all of you coaches out there that are extremely intuitive, empathic, and you guys get rocked off your boat like I do, we got it balanced. And so I work a little different. I can't be forced. If I'm forced, it just, well, well, you know, that doesn't work anyways. And then I got to move my body. I'm really active into fitness and hiking, but I also do like yoga and meditation and breathing on my mat, you know, like laying on my mat and being still. So we go into all of these things, and then when you finally work with the inner sides, the inner levels, then monetize will come more organically. So sure enough, that's where I am now. I'm now monetizing my practice, and that spirit kept saying, keep going, keep going. I said, but I'm not wealthy yet. I'm could be in these different industries. And people invited me, you know, become a realtor, come into like, you know, financial wellness. Like there were all these different invitations for me along the years to move around, you know, go into different industries. And every time my heart kept saying, nope, just stay the course, stay the course. And so finally now I'm ready on the inside. And that's why I can serve, you know, people through my program, Crystallize Your Vision. So I'm really excited. I love it. I'm already loving it so much. Yeah.
Wow, that was beautiful, the way that you're able to identify all those different steps to what take you to, you know, the wealth and the monetizing, because a lot of people start with that. It's like, how do I make money? How do I make money? But they don't know that there's so many other things that you have to go through. So you seem like to have obviously figured out your framework over time, and that's how you're helping your clients with that. Colleen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for everything that you shared with us. I learned a lot. I always learn from every interview, new connections, new information that really sparks our creative juices and intuition. And I love that you talked about being an empath. I also find myself there a lot of times, and every time that we need to be creative and innovate, you can't force that. You have to just, you know, understand how to be in that flow so that you can, you know, align your creativity of your business to that next level. So I love that you actually also mentioned that as well. As a final, we reach the end of our interview. I usually ask my guests if there's a final message that their school of life has taught them that they would like to share. And also, where is it that our community can connect with you further and learn more about everything that you have going on with your work?
I love that question. And thank you again for today. Absolutely. The number one tip or reminder that I want to give everybody is trust yourself. Trust yourself. That means listening to your own intuitive brilliance, because it is given to you innately. You're born with it. You have it. And my life of not trusting it, trying to push things away and make it what I thought I was taught, conditioning, no go. Doesn't work. Trust your first hit. It will serve you forever. Where can people reach me? Well, ColleenWynia.com. That's ColleenWynia.com. And I'm on YouTube channel, which is Colleen Wynia, Instagram and all the socials, Instagram, Facebook. And recently I opened up a TikTok account. I'm a total newbie, don't know what I'm doing there, but balancing where can I spend my energies. So love to meet you all.
All right, beautiful. So guys, go follow Colleen in all these different amazing places and have fun with TikTok. It's a different type of platform, but it really can show a different side of people. So I love it for that, for the entertainment purposes of sometimes, you know, not giving your content variety, because people resonate with different things. So Colleen is also part of our community on Facebook, Badass Mission Driven Entrepreneur Community. So Colleen, you feel free to share your links in there so people can easily access you. And this show will be part of our podcast interview series, which will be, it's featured everywhere podcast platforms are available. Thank you so much, Colleen, for everything you shared with us. We have reached the end of our interview, and I'll see you with another interview and another amazing guest next time. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Bye, everybody.